हरे कृष्णा। तो सभी भक्तों को स्वागत है आज के रथ यात्रा महामहोत्सव में। हमारा सौभाग्य है, परम सौभाग्य है, हमारे साथ प्रसिद्ध हैं परम पूज्य भक्ति विक्रम विनाश नरसिंह स्वामी महाराज। परम पूज्य भक्ति विक्रम विनाश नरसिंह स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद जी के डिसाइपल हैं और मायापुर में निवास करते हैं और दुनिया भर प्रचार करते हैं। आपने भी फ्राइडे और संडे में सिंधी हॉल में भी लेक्चर सुने होंगे। तो आज महाराज जगन्नाथ जी की पास टाइम्स के ऊपर कथा करेंगे और उसके बाद जगन्नाथ जी को रथ में विराजमान करेंगे और महाराज आरती करेंगे और सबको फूल करने का सौभाग्य मिलेगा। तो हम अभी महाराज को सुस्वागत करते हैं। एक बार हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र जप करके हरे कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे सॉरी और थोड़ा आगे। जय कुंज बिहारी जय कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today, do we need translation?
No. Hare Krishna, किसी को हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन चाहिए या सीधा इंग्लिश चलेगा?
तो आपको हिंदी से चलेगा चलेगा
इंग्लिश
So today, auspicious day, today is the disappearance day of Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur and also Gadadhar Pandit. So Bhaktivinod Thakur and Gadadhar Pandit, both they had connection in Jagannath Puri. Bhaktivinod Thakur, for some time he was residing there in Puri. He was the magistrate there in Jagannath Puri. So as the magistrate, he was responsible for the accounts for the temple. And he would check the accounts about the money, service to the deity. So he noticed one time that the king of service of Lord Jagannath. So he told the king, he said, you can't take the Lord Jagannath's money. The king said, look, I'm the king of Puri. I should be able to take the money, I'm the king here of Orissa. But he said, Lord Jagannath, he said, no, Lord Jagannath, he's the Lord of the universe. You can't take his money. And he told the king, you have to repay that money. So the king was very angry with Bhaktivinod Thakur. So what he did was he hired brahmanas to do a yagya. And he told the brahmanas, I want you to do the yagya and kill Bhaktivinod Thakur. He should die after the yagya. Sometimes, they do these yagyas like that. So these brahmanas were doing the yagya, and after some time, when they finished the yagya, Bhaktivinod Thakur didn't die, but the king's son died. They got the reverse of what they wanted, actually. They wanted to kill Bhaktivinod Thakur, but instead just the opposite. The king's son died. Bhaktivinod Thakur was very powerful. Any corruption there, he would remove it. One time there was an impostor claiming he was an incarnation of Vishnu. Bhaktivinod Thakur had him arrested and put in jail. And when they came in court, this incarnation of Vishnu, he'd been fasting. And he said to Bhaktivinod Thakur, he said, I will kill you. I will be the cause of your death. All your family, you're all going to die because you put me in the jail. And this incarnation of Vishnu had many followers. People were supporting him. But Bhaktivinod Thakur said, this man is a cheater, he's a rascal. He's claiming he's God. He has to be punished. So they brought him to court. And the judge sentenced the man, this impostor, and sentenced him to jail. And when he got sentenced to jail, that time they cut his hair. And when they cut all the yogi's hair, then he fell down. And all his power was lost. He was keeping hair, long hair, and from his hair, fire would come out. So people were afraid of him. He was a very powerful yogi. But Bhaktivinod Thakur was not afraid. He said, people claiming to be incarnations of God, that the rascals, cheaters, have to be punished. They got put in the jail. When he was in the jail, he drank poison and died. So Bhaktivinod Thakur, very powerful, great devotee of Lord Jagannath. And then Gadadhar Pandit also. Gadadhar Pandit, he was the follower of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas and came to Jagannath Puri, Gadadhar Pandit came with him. And Gadadhar Pandit took a vow. He didn't take sannyas, he took what is called Kshetra sannyas. He took a vow to remain in the holy dham, Purushottam Kshetra. Took a vow to stay there in Jagannath Puri. Even if you go there today, you can see there's the ashram of Gadadhar Pandit. His disciple followers are there. So Gadadhar Pandit, he's in the Panchatattva. We say Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Gadadhar Pandit. Today's the disappearance Gadadhar Pandit. He was living there in Jagannath Puri with Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya every day would come to see Gadadhar Pandit, and Gadadhar Pandit would read Srimad Bhagavatam to him. And Lord Chaitanya liked very much to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Especially he would hear about Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj. And Gadadhar would recite. So Gadadhar Pandit was living there in Jagannath Puri, and he had Lord Chaitanya gave him the deity Gopinath. Lord Chaitanya personally found the deity of Gopinath on the beach, in the sand, buried in the sand, and he gave it to Gadadhar Pandit to worship. So Gadadhar Pandit was worshipping the deity there in Jagannath. That deity is still there, Tota Gopinath. You can go there and see the deity. And they said one of the places when Lord Chaitanya disappeared from the world, they say he entered into that Gopinath deity, which he'd given to Gadadhar. And there's a mark on the leg of the deity. They say this is where Lord Chaitanya entered into the deity. So Gadadhar Pandit was living there worshipping Gopinath. And the deity, quite big deity. And Gadadhar was always having to stretch up to work, to put the crown on the deity. It was getting old, it became difficult for him. And so the deity understood this is difficult. The deity sat down, and you'll see the deity sitting down to make it easier for Gadadhar to worship. You don't see any Krishna deities really sitting down, they're always standing. But this deity of Krishna is sitting. He sat down for the pleasure of Gadadhar. So Gadadhar Pandit was living there in Jagannath Puri, and every year he'd celebrate Ratha-Yatra. Lord Chaitanya would always go to Ratha-Yatra, take part in Ratha-Yatra. So Ratha-Yatra festival, very important festival. And the mood of Ratha-Yatra, they would bring the deity, that is when the deity comes out of the temple in Jagannath Puri and goes to Gundicha. And the Gundicha temple, that represents Vrindavan, Krishna's home, right? Lord Jagannath is Krishna, and he wants to go home. He wants to visit Vrindavan. He wants to go back home to see the family. Just like all of you, sometimes you will go back home. So the same way, Lord Jagannath, Lord Balaram and Subhadra, brother and sisters, they go there, they go to Vrindavan. They want to go to Vrindavan to be back with the family. And they go to the Gundicha. So Gundicha temple is there some distance away from the down the road. And we have the devotees will pull the chariot from the main temple down to Gundicha. Gundicha means the heart. So Ratha-Yatra festival is for cleaning the heart. Right? We clean that, and we're bringing Krishna to Gundicha. Before we can bring Krishna to Gundicha, first we have to clean the heart. Just like before the Ratha-Yatra festival, they have Gundicha Marjanam, the cleaning of the Gundicha temple. And Lord Chaitanya, all the devotees, they take part to clean the temple. And they bring buckets of water and brooms, and everybody will sweep. And they'll clean the whole place, they'll clean the ceilings, everything. And the water will flow like a river. through the building. They'll clean the whole temple. And then Lord Chaitanya will say, now we'll clean it again to make sure it's really clean. And they'll clean the whole place again. Because we want the Lord, we want Lord Jagannath to come and sit in our heart. So we have to make the heart nice and clean. So how to clean the heart in the Kali Yuga? Cheto Darpana Marjana. Sri Krishna Sankirtan. This is how we clean the heart. So Ratha-Yatra is a nice opportunity for all of us to clean the heart by chanting the holy name, by dancing, distributing the holy name, distributing the Lord's prasadam. And Lord Jagannath is so kind, he comes out of the temple. Usually the Lord is in the temple. You have to go to the temple to see him. But Ratha-Yatra, he comes out of the temple. He's giving darshan to everyone. So this is the mercy of the Lord, that he comes out to give everyone blessings. You don't have to go to him. He's coming to the devotees. So this very nice festival, Lord Jagannath enjoys these festivals with devotees. One of the Lord's devotees, Gadadhar Pandit, his guru was Pundarik Vijayanidhi. So Pundarik Vijayanidhi, what happened, he came to Jagannath Puri one time and he's seeing the worship of Lord Jagannath. And what happens, when it comes to the winter, then they give Lord Jagannath new cloth. They give him some winter cloth to put on. So Pundarik Vijayanidhi, he saw that the pujaris have given this cloth to Jagannath, but they haven't washed it. They haven't taken the starch out of the cloth. You know, when you buy new cloth, it's all stiff because it's got starch in it. So you have to wash the cloth and get the starch out of it. So the pujaris, they didn't wash the cloth and they put the cloth on Lord Jagannath. And Pundarik Vijayanidhi was thinking, oh, look at this. These pujaris have given Jagannath the cloth without washing the starch out of it. And so he was feeling like that these pujaris haven't done proper. So that night, in his sleep, Lord Jagannath came to Pundarik Vijayanidhi and began to slap him. He began to slap Pundarik Vijayanidhi. Then you insult my devotees, my servants, they're serving me, and you're complaining about them. And Jagannath was slapping Pundarik Vijayanidhi. And in the morning he woke up, Pundarik Vijayanidhi's face was all swollen from the slapping of Lord Jagannath. So you have to be very careful how you worship Lord Jagannath, right? You don't want him to come in the dream and slap you. So we have to worship Lord Jagannath very nicely. And we have to also appreciate Lord Jagannath's devotees. Like, appreciate the devotees, how they're serving the Lord, making arrangements for the worship of the Lord. So Lord Jagannath is very merciful. What happened? Ramanujacharya, you know, he's from the Sri Vaishnavas. And the Sri Vaishnavas, they do a lot of deity worship and they follow many rules and regulations. So Ramanujacharya, he came to Jagannath Puri and he saw in Jagannath Puri these people, they worship the Lord in very unusual ways. They don't follow the rules and regulations. Even some of them eat fish and so on, you know. So Ramanujacharya, he went to the king of Puri and he told the king, you know, your people are not worshipping the deity properly. You have to call them out tomorrow. Call them out tomorrow to come here to the palace and I will teach them how to do the proper puja for the Lord. Ramanuja was telling the king like that. So the king of Puri ordered all the brahmanas, all the pandyas and everyone, you all have to come tomorrow. Ramanujacharya is going to teach all of you how to worship the Lord. So what happened the next morning, everybody came there. Everybody came except Ramanujacharya. And they were wondering, hey, what happened to Ramanujacharya? You know what happened? That night, Ramanujacharya, he went to the place where he was staying, and in the night, Lord Jagannath came, and he took him out of Jagannath Puri. He wouldn't let him stay in Jagannath Puri, and he put him in Kurmakshetra. And the next morning, Ramanujacharya woke up. He was surprised. How come I got here? Lord Jagannath had taken him out from Jagannath Puri. Lord Jagannath doesn't tolerate anybody interfering in his worship. And even Ramanujacharya, great Acharya, he got rejected from Jagannath Puri and put in Kurmakshetra. So he woke up. In Kurmakshetra, he went to see the deity there. He thought, oh no, this is a Shiva deity. At first he could not recognize. He thought it was a Shiva temple, but it was a temple of Kurma, Lord Kurma. Anyway, that deity is there, Kurmakshetra. So Ramanujacharya stayed there and he did the worship of Lord Kurma. But he didn't get to interfere in the worship of Lord Jagannath. The worship of Lord Jagannath is very special. So nobody should complain, nobody should interfere in the worship of Lord Jagannath. So Srila Prabhupada, when he went to the Western world, one of the first deities he introduced to worship was Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath appeared to the devotees. Lord Jagannath appeared. What happened? One of the devotees went to the Indian store and they bought a doll. And they didn't know who was this doll. And they brought the doll and they showed it to Prabhupada. And when Prabhupada saw the doll, Prabhupada offered his obeisances to the doll. The devotee was surprised and said, who is this, Prabhupada? And Prabhupada said, this is Lord Jagannath. This is a form of Lord Krishna. The devotees were surprised. And Prabhupada said, no, this is very special. He said, Lord Jagannath has appeared. He said, he must want us to worship him because he's come to you like this. So Prabhupada, he told the lady, go back to the shop and see if they have any others. So she went back to the shop and she found one of Balarama and one of Subhadra, and she brought them back. And then Prabhupada said, we should make our own deities. And they brought big logs of wood and they had one devotee carve the deities. And then they put on Ratha-Yatra festival. And Prabhupada had a nice festival there. There was a big park there in San Francisco, and they had Ratha-Yatra festival there in the park. And thousands of people all came. And the people in San Francisco were so happy, they called it Ratha-Yatra Day. They made a special day there in San Francisco, Ratha-Yatra Day. And many, many people all came from all over US to take part in Ratha-Yatra. Now, of course, we have Ratha-Yatra in many cities there in the US. And many parts of the world, everywhere, putting on Ratha-Yatra festival. And the mood of the Ratha-Yatra is to bring Krishna to Vrindavan, to bring Krishna back home to his family. Lord Krishna is happy to come to Vrindavan. And traditionally, the Ratha-Yatra and the chariot will go there, will stay there 7 days and then come back. So Lord Krishna enjoys his pastime to go back to Vrindavan. You know, when Akrura brought Krishna out of Vrindavan, the gopis, they didn't want Krishna to go. But Krishna is telling them, no, I'm definitely coming back. and definitely coming back. But actually didn't come back for a long time. But then it happened, there was an eclipse at Kurukshetra. And when there was an eclipse at Kurukshetra, this time Lord Krishna, he had been living in Dwarka, and he got married, had all his wives. So when there was an eclipse, he came from Dwarka to Kurukshetra with all of his wives and family, and all the great sages, they all came. They came there to do yagya, to do some yagya, and to give charity to the brahmanas, to counteract the inauspicious situation of the eclipse. Eclipse is not auspicious. So anyway, Lord Krishna came there to Kurukshetra, and he arranged all the gopis to come from Vrindavan. So Kurukshetra, Krishna met with the gopis. Kurukshetra is famous for two things. One is for the Bhagavad Gita, and the other thing is for Ratha-Yatra. So Prabhupada wanted a big temple. We're building a big temple in Kurukshetra. I think maybe this year is going to open. Been building a big temple under Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He's been arranging a big temple there to fulfill Prabhupada's wanted a nice temple in Kurukshetra. So, because what happened in Kurukshetra, when they saw Krishna as a cowherd boy, they knew him. Noisy, so many chariots rumbling, so many elephants moving, so much dust. They said, we want to take Krishna to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, there's the river Yamuna, and the Govardhan Hill, and the peacocks, and the cows, and the parrots. We want to bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. So they didn't want Krishna at Kurukshetra. So the gopis arranged a chariot, and they brought Krishna from Kurukshetra to Vrindavan. So that was the first Ratha-Yatra, bringing Krishna from Kurukshetra back to Vrindavan. So every year, Ratha-Yatra, the mood is bringing Krishna to Vrindavan. Krishna likes to come back to his home. So tonight also we're having Ratha-Yatra. We want to celebrate that mood, bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. His Holiness Bhaktivinod Swami Maharaj ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. If anyone has any question.
Yes.
It is Pundrik Vidya is also the guru of
Yes, Pundarik Vijayanidhi was the guru of Gadadhar Pandit. Right.
So same person was being
Huh?
was the same person who was being slapped by Jagannath.
Pundarik Vijayanidhi was slapped by Jagannath.
Same person.
Yes. Yes.
But then he was like very elevated, no? Like at that time Gadadhar Pandit was not able to recognize him, but he was like very pleased. Why is it that he could not understand that what his feelings like? Why was it not?
Why he couldn't understand?
He was slapped by Jagannath because that cloth he did not offer.
Yes, it was not washed.
Not able to understand that thing.
Well, it's just a custom that the cloth before you offer it to the deity, you take out the starch should be removed. The starch should be removed from the cloth. But these pujaris, they had not they had not washed the cloth, they had not removed the starch, and they put the new cloth directly onto the deity. So Gadadhar Pundarik Vijayanidhi, he didn't like that. He thought this is not right, it's not proper. But Lord Jagannath, he didn't mind. Lord Jagannath didn't mind. So he was slapping Pundarik Vijayanidhi that you're criticizing my devotee. Because the devotees, they were offering, it was a cloth for the winter time, and it was getting cold. So the pujaris, they put the new cloth on the deity, but they had not washed out the starch. So Pundarik Vijayanidhi was in his mind, he was criticizing them. But Lord Jagannath was not upset. Lord Jagannath was happy that they're giving me the new cloth. So Lord Jagannath was slapping Pundarik. Don't criticize my devotees, my servants. So Pundarik Vijayanidhi was a great devotee. He was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. And he gave initiation to Gadadhar Pandit. And Lord Chaitanya would refer to Pundarik Vijayanidhi as my father. My father. Because Lord Chaitanya was cultivating Radha Baba. So Radharani's father, who is Radharani's father? Maharaj Vrishabhanu, right. And the Pundarik Vijayanidhi in Krishna Lila, he was Maharaj Vrishabhanu. And Krishna Lila, he was Maharaj Vrishabhanu. He came in Chaitanya Lila as Pundarik Vijayanidhi. So Lord Chaitanya would refer to him as my father, my father. Pundarik, a great devotee. So great devotees, they enjoy these pastimes with the Lord. Pundarik Vijayanidhi took pleasure in being slapped by the Lord.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Any question, please? Thank you so much. Shivani. Jagannath.
Okay.